Hello and welcome back to my blogcast. On today's episode, we'll be talking about the mystery of the boy in the box. Several theories have emerged, but the mystery of the boy in the box has remained unsolved for over 60 years. In the Ivy Hill Cemetery in Cedar Brook, Philadelphia, there sits a large plot kept mostly entirely covered in stuffed animals donated by local families and visitors. The headstone reads, "America's Unknown Child," a permanent reminder of the child who lies beneath it. He was found dead and alone in a box, and no one could identify him. The case of the boy in the box was one of Philadelphia's most baffling murder cases ever, stumping police for over 60 years and still today leaving hundreds of unsolved and unanswered questions. In February 1957, a young muskrat hunter set out to check his traps set near the park just north of Philadelphia. As he moved through the bushes, he found a small cardboard box laying discarded on the ground. Inside was the naked body of a boy wrapped in a plaid blanket, fearing that the police would confiscate his traps if he alerted them to the box. The young hunter ignored it and resumed hunting. Several days later, a college student driving down the roads noticed a bunny running along the highway. The student knew there were traps in the area and stopped to make sure the animal was safe. After he sifted through the bushes searching for traps, he came across the box. Though he was terrified, feared interaction with the police, the student reported the body to them. A lot of questions have come up about this. One of the main was, who was the boy in the box? Given that the boy was young, between 3 and 7 years old, police were hopeful that he would be quickly identified. However, once they saw the body, their hopes were destroyed, gone. While people would surely be looking for a missing boy who was healthy, well cared for, and clearly loved, it was unlikely that they would be looking for a scrawny, dirty, malnourished one. Unfortunately, the boy in the box was just that. His hair was matted and seemed to have been recently cut, as clumps of it still cling to his body. His body was severely malnourished with covers of surgical scars, most notably one on his ankle, groin, and chin. Despite the fact that he looked abandoned, police fingerprinted him, hoping to find a match. Sadly, no one did. Over the next several years, over 400,000 flyers were sent out to the Philadelphia area, as well as other towns in Pennsylvania. A forensic facial reconstruction was done, and a drawing of a happy young boy was included on all of the posters. Flyers were posted in police stations, post offices, and even included in the envelopes with gas bills, but still, no one could come forward with information. The crime scene itself was searched several times, but apart from several items of children's clothing, all which led nowhere, there was still no leads. To this day, the boy's identity remains as much a mystery as it was in 1957. Though the case has ran cold, the publicity and interest in the case by amateur investigators have turned up a couple notable theories throughout the years. One of the theories about the case is in 1960, an employee of the medical examiner's office was told by a psychic that a boy in the box had come from a local foster home. The police inquired about the boy in the foster home and found blankets similar to the one that he had been wrapped in, hanging on clotheslines, as well as a bassinet that was sold in the same box that the boy had been found in. The employees theorized that the boy had been born to the daughter of a man who ran the foster home, and that his death had been accidental. Despite the employees' insistence of these facts, no connections were ever made between the boy in the box and the foster home. It wasn't until over 40 years later that another shocking theory emerged. And this theory is about a woman referred to only as M came forward claiming that the boy in the box had been purchased by her abusive mother and abused for several years in her home. M claimed that the boy vomited up his dinner of baked beans. Her mother had bashed his head against the wall as a punishment. Then she attempted to bathe him, during which he had died. The police initially followed this lead as there were remains of baked beans in the boy's stomach, and his fingers appeared to be wrinkled by water. These were both pieces of information that were never shared with the public. They were also encouraged by M's description of the boy as a small child with long hair that fit with their theory that his hair had been recently chopped, as well as an old testimony from a man who claimed that he had seen the boy being placed there in the box and in the woods. Unfortunately, police eventually let the theory slide as they were unable to verify M's claims. After looking into M's background, they found a history of severe mental illness. When they attempted to corroborate her claims with neighbors and friends, all of them denied ever seeing a child in the home. So the theory again went aside and nothing was ever done. And that is all I have about the boy in the box.